Have you ever walked away from a conversation feeling like you're losing your mind? Like you remembered a specific event, but someone you love is looking you in the eye and telling you it never happened? You aren't crazy. You're experiencing a specific type of psychological warfare designed to make you doubt your own reality. Today, we're breaking down the mechanics of narcissistic abuse and, more importantly, how to take your mind back. Welcome back to the Human Mindset Hub. If you've ever been in a relationship, whether it's romantic, familial, or even at work, where you felt like you were constantly walking on eggshells, this video is for you. Narcissistic abuse isn't always loud. It's often a slow, quiet erosion of your identity. It relies on a tactic called gaslighting, a form of manipulation where the abuser makes the victim question their own perceptions, memories, and sanity. By the end of this video, we aren't just going to understand why they do it. We're going to give you the antidotes. We'll cover reality revisionism, the Darvo technique, and a step-by-step guide to rebuilding your unshakable core. If you find this helpful, please hit that subscribe button. It helps us reach more people who might be feeling lost in the fog right now. Section 1. Reality revisionism and the fog. Let's start with the foundation, reality revisionism. In a healthy relationship, two people can have different perspectives. But in a narcissistic dynamic, there is only one truth, theirs. Reality revisionism is when the abuser flat out denies facts. They'll say things like, "I never said that," or "you're imagining things," even when you have proof. This creates what survivors call the fog. It's an acronym for fear, obligation, and guilt. When your reality is constantly revised, your brain starts to outsource its judgment to the abuser. You stop asking, "Is this true?" and start asking, "What do I need to say to keep the peace?" This is the erosion of worth. Think of it like a drop of water hitting a stone. One drop doesn't do much, but 10,000 drops over 5 years? It carves a hole right through your self-esteem. You begin to believe that your picker is broken, that you can't trust your own eyes or ears. Section 2, the Darvo tactic. Now, what happens when you actually try to hold them accountable? This is where a very specific psychological maneuver comes in. It's called Darvo. It stands for deny the behavior, attack the person bringing it up, reverse victim and offender. Host, see what happened there? Within 30 seconds, the original issue, the lie, is forgotten. Now, you are the one apologizing. You're defending your character while they play the victim. This is blame shifting at its most toxic. It's designed to make you feel so exhausted by the conflict that you eventually stop bringing up your concerns altogether. If you've ever experienced a Darvo flip, let me know in the comments. Just writing "I've been there" can be a powerful way to realize you aren't alone in this. Section 3. The antidote, becoming a factualist. Host, so, how do we fight back? The first antidote is becoming a factualist. When you're being gaslit, the abuser wants to argue about feelings and interpretations. Your job is to stick to the data. Start keeping a reality journal. This isn't for them. Don't show it to them. That'll just trigger more Darvo. This is for you. Write down on Tuesday at 4 p.m. this was said. I felt this way. This was the response. When the fog rolls in later and they say, "That never happened," you can look at your notes and say to yourself, "I have the data. I know what happened." You don't need them to agree with your reality for it to be real. This is the first step in reclaiming self-trust. Section 4, the gray rock method. The second tool is the gray rock method. Narcissists thrive on narcissistic supply. Your anger, your tears, your explanations. They want a reaction. When you gray rock, you become as boring as a pebble on the ground. You give short, non-committal answers. Okay, I hear you. That's your opinion. You don't defend yourself. You don't over-explain. By removing the emotional payoff for the abuser, they often lose interest in targeting you. It's a way of protecting your energy while you plan your next move. Section 5. Building an unshakable core. Finally, we have to talk about the unshakable core. Healing from this kind of abuse isn't just about managing the abuser. It's about reconnecting with yourself. Narcissistic abuse leaves you discentered. You've spent so long obsessing over their moods that you've forgotten your own. Rebuilding your core means practicing small acts of self-trust. Pick what you want for dinner without asking for input. Choose a hobby they hated. Listen to the quiet voice in your gut that says, "This doesn't feel right." That voice is your compass. It might be faint right now, but the more you listen to it, the louder it gets. Host. Reclaiming your mind after gaslighting is a process, not an event. It takes time to stop the inner critic that sounds exactly like your abuser. But remember, the fact that you're even watching this, questioning the dynamic, and looking for answers, that means your core is still there. They didn't break it. If this video helped you see things more clearly, please give it a thumbs up. It helps the algorithm show this to others who might be trapped in the fog right now. And if you're ready to take the next step in your healing journey, check out our playlist on setting boundaries with difficult people right here. You are not crazy. You are not alone. And your reality matters. I'll see you in the next video.